Fires can happen at any time. Most businesses have fire extinguishers on hand, usually mounted on a wall. Be aware of where your fire extinguishers are. One of the quickest and safest ways to put out a fire is using a fire extinguisher. Using a fire extinguisher can also be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Safety always comes first. Today I'm going to talk to you about using a fire extinguisher. There are 3 important areas to using a fire extinguisher. First is the safety steps to consider before using a fire extinguisher. There are different types of fires and different types of fire extinguishers. Then, how to use a fire extinguisher. I'm going to talk about these steps when necessary to use a fire extinguisher, including the steps you should take before getting a fire extinguisher. These types of fires and extinguishers, how to operate a fire extinguisher if necessary. Use safety steps before using a fire extinguisher. When you see a fire, you must first check to see if the building or home is being evacuated. You must also make sure that 911 has been called. Next, you check to see if the fire is small enough to be extinguished with a fire extinguisher. Last, you should make sure that you have the correct fire extinguisher to handle the type of fire that you are dealing with. You must determine the type of fire and the correct fire extinguisher to use. The first type of fire is paper, wood, and cardboard. This is fire extinguisher type A. The next type of fire is flammable liquids such as gas and kerosene. This is fire extinguisher type B. The last type that I will be discussing is electrical, such as a television, lamp, or stove. This is fire extinguisher type C. There are 4 steps to the proper use of a fire extinguisher. Once you have checked to ensure that you are using the correct fire extinguisher, follow the 4 steps. There's an acronym that we use for this. It's called PASS. P-A-S-S. P stands for pull the pin. You must pick up the fire extinguisher and then pull the pin located here on the handle. A stands for aim the nozzle. You then point the fire extinguisher toward the base of the fire. Next is S. It's where you squeeze the handle. That causes the dry chemical to cover the fire. Last is S. Sweep the fire. It is necessary to move the fire extinguisher in a sweeping motion to cover as much area as possible. To sum it all up, to use a fire extinguisher effectively, in the case of a fire, you need to do 3 things. First, use safety tips before using the fire extinguisher. Next, determine the type of fire that you are dealing with and the type of fire extinguisher you need to use. Follow the PASS steps when using a fire extinguisher. These 3 steps are the pathway to successfully extinguishing a fire. With these steps, a person could change the outcome of an emergency. Why can't you? Everybody can make a difference in the world. You can learn these steps, and you might one day save your family or business.